Nurses and ambulance workers have begun their strike in parts of England as the biggest round of NHS walkouts begins. This marks the beginning of a series of walkouts by NHS staff in the country. According to officials, this is the biggest round of industrial action in the history of the state-run health service. Earlier, a number of unions suspended strike action in Wales. Meanwhile, the General Secretary of the Royal College of Nurses, Pat Cullen, has urged Prime Minister Rishi Sunak to make a new pay offer and bring this industrial action to an end. Other union chiefs say they had no choice but to go on strike as there had been no meaningful dialogue for a month between the unions and the government. According to the UK government, the pay demands are unaffordable and would spike inflation. The Health Secretary, Steve Barclay, warned that these walkouts would have an impact on patients and will cause delays.
What nurses do, nurses are notoriously bad at standing up for themselves, and I think it's just driven to crunch point, really, straw that broke the camel's back at this point.
Listen. They're still not listening. They're still saying, the NHS doesn't have the money to pay. Of course the NHS doesn't have the money. That's why we're here. We're here for everyone. The government needs to listen and discuss pay rather than just saying the NHS doesn't have money.
Last week, the UK witnessed the biggest teacher strike in recent times. The action impacted 23,000 schools in England and Wales. According to the union chief, the UK government had been unwilling to seriously engage with the causes of strike action. The strike had a significant impact on more than 4 million students in the country. Several unions say there is no sign of a breakthrough in pay talks and have pledged more action in the coming weeks. More strikes are planned throughout the month of February, and it's expected that nurses will once again join the demonstrations.
We need you to raise our pay 10%.
When do we want it?
Now.
For more on this, our correspondent Alex Isaac joins us live from London. Alex, another day, another strike in the UK. What's the situation like on the ground today? What kind of an impact has today's strike action had so far?
Well, we're seeing a lot of the nurses from the Royal College of Nursing out on the picket lines. There's a couple around London and throughout England as well. Of course, in Wales and Scotland, the nurses aren't on strike there because the government has negotiated a different type of pay deal. But that is still on the table, so there could still be strikes going forwards. Now, what we do know is that there is meant to be 2 days of strikes for the nurses. That's today and tomorrow. However, Pat Cullen, who is in charge of the Royal College of Nursing Union, she says that she's happy to have a negotiation with the government today about pay, and then they will halt those strikes tomorrow. But generally, it's not just these strikes here, the nurses, it's also ambulance workers who are also on strike, being called a coordinated chaos to try and push the government into doing something and offering more pay. But at the moment, they still seem standfast that they aren't going to do anything. Speaking earlier today, the government have said that they aren't going to talk about pay negotiations when the inflation rate is still so high, but they are looking at the pay banding for the next financial year. Obviously, that's not going to stop these strikes from happening throughout February, and unless they the table with the unions and make those changes. I think generally, though, people, the rest of the nation are mostly behind the nurses and all those in the NHS, as they have used the services and they do feel that they do a great job and they should be getting the extra pay. But of course, it all depends on the government, and they say at the moment that there isn't any money because of inflation.
All right. Certainly, this situation is worsening by the day in the United Kingdom. Thanks very much, Alex, for getting us all those details.